Welcome to Asia's Fury. Randall Cox here. Hey, today we're going to talk about our exercise frequency and how many days per week that we should be working out as that relates to our weight loss and exercise goals. Hey, if this is your first time here, start by subscribing now. Get those notifications turned on so that you don't miss anything. Now, the first decision you have to make is how many times can you consistently, and I want to emphasize the word consistently, exercise. Okay? This must be a commitment to yourself. You don't want to promise your body something that you can't deliver. Now, we want to look at our vision, and where we want to ultimately be based on those goals. Are we trying to establish a baseline of fitness? Are we trying to lose weight? Are we trying to add muscle? Now, we exercise for our health, but of course we want to look better. The question is, how much better, right? If you want to look a lot better, then you're going to have to work a lot harder. So, of course now nutrition, plays a huge role in all of this, but, that's a different topic and one that we're not going to dive into today. But I do have a number of videos that, they get into, eating and the weight loss into some details, so you want to, make sure that you check those out. Now, I can make recommendations about the best, exercises, the sets, the reps, but at the end of the day, it's what keeps you coming back. Look, 90% of the people that start an exercise program stop after 90 days. So, what's going to keep you coming back? So, first and foremost is, you have to enjoy it. If you don't like the exercise program that you're doing, you're not going to last long. Now, I'm a weight training person, okay? That's what's worked for me, and that's what I talk about in my videos. But, look, there are cardio programs out there, there are HIIT programs out there, there are group programs out there, and that list goes on. Those aren't my thing, but it doesn't mean that you can't be highly successful utilizing those programs if that's what gets you back in the gym to exercise. I started weight training in 1978. So it's been over 40 years. I'm still doing it, okay? And that's what worked for me. That's what kept me coming back for more. So I want to stress, you got to find what works for you or you're going to stop exercising. Now look, if you try something and you don't like it, try something else. Because, when you hear yourself say the words, oh, I have to go work out. Okay, let me tell you, it's game over. Okay, I guarantee you that in time, you're not going to be saying those words anymore because you have stopped exercising. Now, with that being said, I'm going to get in, into some different training programs here. Now, I do have a number of, different training videos that utilize, these concepts to a certain degree. Now, there's some exercises that you're not going to like, which is fine. You just need to find something that you do like. Now, first off, a few training tips. I do think it's good advice to, speak to a healthcare professional before you start any exercise program to make sure there are no issues that are going to prevent you from exercising. Now, if you experience any joint pain when training certain muscles, then you need to stop and evaluate why. Are you doing the exercise correctly is going to be, your first question. Maybe you have a certain body part that's compromised. For example, if you have a bad back, I would suggest you're probably not deadlifting 300 pounds. Now, don't count your reps necessarily in terms of the number, as what you're looking to do is, make every rep count in terms of quality over quantity. Okay, you need to focus on every set of reps. You have to be engaged mentally, okay? If your mind isn't, if it's focused on something other than the set that you're trying to do, it's not going to be positive. So intensity, over the length of that workout. Again, I go back to it's better to have 10, quality good sets over 15 average ones. Again, we need to be engaged mentally. Okay, if you're in the gym 60 minutes, you need to be engaged for 60 minutes. Look, I get it. Distractions happen. I understand that, and you do need to manage those situations. But you know what? If you're texting between every set, Well, I can tell you, well, where's your mind going to be at, during your set? It's probably not focused on the exercise, but rather, I need to hurry up and get through this set here so that, I can get back to my texting. Now, use full muscle contraction, full range of motion. Slow it down. You want to feel that muscle work. Okay, time under tension for the muscle engagement is critical. Hey, and for some people, you got to check that ego at the door. Okay, when I see somebody come in, and they load, 300 pounds on a squat rack and they move it 3 inches, I'm like, why bother? Okay, all you're doing is you're tearing up your joints and you're not engaging the muscle. Now, in training larger and smaller body parts, such as a chest and a tricep, you want to train that larger muscle first. Okay, the smaller the muscle, the faster it's going to fatigue. You want to have that smaller muscle at full capacity when you go to train that larger muscle. So as an example, if you train your triceps before chest, your triceps are going to be fatigued, by the time you get to your chest, and your ability to push a heavier weight is going to be limited. So now we're back to our training splits and how that might play out for us. So, now one option is a push-pull, where our push muscles are going to include our chest, our shoulders, our triceps, and our quadriceps, and we get into the pull muscles. That's going to be our back, our biceps, and our hamstrings and glutes. Now this is a great workout for, if you're doing 2 or 4 times per week. The theory here is, when, the push muscles, they use the same muscles primarily. Now when you train your chest, you're also engaging your shoulders and your triceps. By training all these muscles the same day, you give your muscles, the rest that it needs before you train them again. Now, in reality, you do engage your shoulder muscles when, to some degree when you're training your back as well, but you're not pushing. So if you're going 2 days per week, you push one day and you pull on the other. Now this could also work in a 3 workout, per week cycle, in which you kind of, you split that up over 2 weeks. So, we come in that first week, we're going to do a push, a pull, and a push that first week, and then we're going to come back the next week and we're going to do a pull, a push, and a pull. Now I want to emphasize rest. It's very important. We want to make sure that we're getting, a day of rest between those workouts. But you can go back-to-back days as long as that's, as I talked about, a push one day and a pull the next. Now the same is going to hold true for, say a 4, workout per week cycle where, hey, I'm going to push, I'm going to pull, I'm going to rest, and then I'm going to push and I'm going to pull again. Now another option for 2 days per week is a full body workout, where we're using both push and pull muscles the same day. Now, obviously, our training volume is going to be a little bit less with probably, 1 or 2 exercises per body part. And of course, we want to start slow with 1 exercise, and move on from there. It's much easier to add, some more exercises at the end, before we run out of gas. So you don't want to come in and, chest, shoulder, shoulder, quad, quad. Hey, I'm running out of gas. I don't have anything left, for the other parts of my body. Now we can also move into a push-pull legs, okay, where we're going to push one day with our chest, our shoulders, and our triceps. We're going to pull the next day with our back and our biceps, and then the third day we're going to go to the lower half and we're going to do the quadriceps, right, and our hamstrings and glutes. Okay, now this is a great 3 workout per week cycle. You can literally go 3 consecutive days. You could do like a push, a legs, and a pull format. Now, as you start to master your workouts, you get into, a 4, a 5, and a 6 workout per week cycle. Now, this is pretty advanced, and a number of things come into play for this to work. The first thing that you don't want to do is overtrain. And again, this is why I emphasize the importance of rest. When you get into, advanced workouts, you really have to be consistent. Now, you can do, 4 workouts one day or 1 week, 5 workouts, another week, which is fine. But what you don't want to do is have a week of, 4 or 5 workouts and you come back the next week and have 1. Okay? As with any higher volume workout, your body is going to advance in building muscle and losing fat. So, again, we want to make sure that we monitor our rest. And this is why I talk about a push-pull theory, because we're not taxing a certain muscle group, 2 days in a row. As an example, you don't want to come in one day and do your chest and the next day and do shoulders, because now you're doing back-to-back push and you're not giving that muscle group adequate rest. Now, figuring out your sets and reps is another, pretty large part of the equation. Now, when we talk about a high rep workout, let's say that we're into a 15 to 18 rep set, this is our muscle endurance. Okay, obviously a higher rep, workout is going to require less weight being lifted. And I associate this with, a high intensity workout where you're looking to burn, a few more calories, and you're probably going to have some shorter rest periods in between those sets. And for those of you looking to, add some cardio to your workouts, I feel this is a great program for that. You might be 20, 30 minutes of weight training followed by, 20 or 30 minutes of cardio. Now, when we get into, say, a 5 to 6 rep range, now this is more of strength building, right? And probably a little less on the increase, of our muscle size. But hey, building strong muscles is a great foundation, for building muscle size. Now, for me, I personally don't train, anything less than 5 reps because at my age, I really am trying to preserve that joint stability. Now, for me to do a 1 to 2 rep, max set, it just isn't going to have the same effect it did when I was younger. Now there are plenty of people my age out there that, they do train in that 1 to 2 rep max sets, and that's what works for them. So by no means do I want to discredit that type of training, because it all goes back to what works for you. Now, for me personally, I predominantly train in about an 8 to 12 rep range. My warm-up is going to, typically be probably 2 or 3 sets. That's, probably going to be somewhere around 15, maybe 18 reps. I'm going to follow that up with sets, in an 8 to 12 range. Now, for certain exercises, like maybe, say, a barbell squat, I might, at the end, drop down for a set of 5 or 6. And this is typically only going to be, 1 or 2 sets. As an example, on a barbell squat, I might warm up with just the bar, no weight. I'm going to do probably, 15, 18 reps, a couple sets, maybe 3, depending on how I feel. After that, I'm going to add some weight. I'm going to knock out 12 reps. I'm going to add some weight. I'm going to knock out 10 reps. I'm going to add some more weight, and I'm going to finish up with 2 or 3 sets of, 8 reps. Now, in reality, I don't go in with a set number of sets. It really does depend on how I feel. Now, on days I'm feeling pretty spry, right, I'm going to go in and do that set of 5 to 6 reps. And if I'm feeling, really dialed in, I might even do a second set at that 5 to 6 range. Now, on days where I'm, say 8 or 9 sets on a squat rack, my next quad exercise, I'm probably going to dial that back a little bit, maybe not, have as many sets. But my training is really based on how I feel. Now, on days I have good energy, I'm going to do more sets, okay? On days where my body fuel, is running a little bit low, then I'm probably going to reduce those sets. My main thing is that whatever I do, it needs to be good quality, okay? Again, I go back to you're much better off to do 10 quality sets over 15 half-ass ones. And look, there are days I'm off, and I know I'm off before I even walk into the gym. So on those days, I'm going to focus on that first exercise, and I'm going to push myself for 100% effort. Now, if I'm still off after that, then I'm probably going to switch gears and I'm going to, complete a second exercise of something that, I maybe don't ordinarily do on that particular day. Now, what happens there is I have a fresh energy because I'm doing something that, I don't do, right? So it's fun. I don't have a certain expectation. Now, the other plus is as you're, gearing up your exercise program is you might find something that you really enjoy doing. It's like, hey, I want to put this in there as part of my, my regular exercise cycle. Now, again, I have a number of different training videos that are all tailored around these concepts. And hopefully you can find something that, that works from you. And from there, you can switch things up. Because it's all about, hey, what's going to get you back in the gym? The main thing that I want to emphasize here is being consistent, okay? If you plan to exercise 2 days per week, you need to make sure that you exercise 2 days per week. Hey, please leave your comments as I work with people on their quest for better health. And if you're looking for more programs to help you out with that weight loss, that nutrition, and your exercise goals, please follow me on YouTube and Instagram. Thank you.